The 2026 revision of ISO 14001 places leadership at the absolute center of the environmental management system. It makes one thing perfectly clear. If leadership fails, the EMS fails. This is not a new idea, but the latest standard gives it more teeth than ever before. It moves leadership from a passive, sign-off role to one of active, demonstrable engagement. The days of simply appointing an environmental manager and considering the job done are over. Top management is now directly accountable for the effectiveness of the entire system. This is a fundamental shift that auditors will scrutinize with intense focus. Environmental thinking must be embedded into the fabric of business strategy. Environmental performance is now a core business issue, tied to finance, quality, and safety. The core message: an effective EMS reflects the leadership that guides it. Your job as a leader is to live it every day. The success of your entire environmental program depends on it. Clause 5 of ISO 14001-2026 is structured to ensure leadership is a set of specific, auditable actions. It is about making top management take ownership. They can delegate tasks, but cannot delegate accountability for EMS effectiveness. Leaders must understand environmental risks and opportunities as core business risks and opportunities. The clause demands integration of EMS requirements into business processes, strategy, operations, finance, and EMS. The EMS cannot be a standalone manual on a shelf. It must be woven into how the company plans, operates, and decides. This includes strategic planning, capital expenditure decisions, product design, and supply chain management. Top management is accountable for achieving intended outcomes, enhanced performance, compliance, and objectives. They need good data and must show how they use it to drive continual improvement. Above all, Clause 5 is about culture. Visible leadership sets behavior and decisions at every level. Clause 5.1 lays out the specific, non-delegable duties of top management. It is a checklist of actions that prove leadership commitment, starting with accountability for EMS effectiveness. Auditors will ask directly, how are you accountable for the EMS? A good answer links EMS performance to leadership KPIs, business unit results, and strategic goals. The 2026 revision strengthens integration into business processes beyond the 2015 intent. Auditors will expect environmental criteria in project gates, procurement scorecards, and strategic planning documents. 2026 adds emphasis on climate change adaptation and mitigation within EMS context. Implementation. Leaders read the standard, chair reviews, ask pointed questions, champion wins, own failures, conduct walkarounds, and allocate budget. Auditors seek meeting minutes, showing decisions and strategic plans reflecting environmental goals. They look for direct evidence of leadership engagement and decision-making records, not just signed policies. The environmental policy, as defined in Clause 5.2, is the cornerstone of the EMS, a public declaration from top management. It provides the framework for setting environmental objectives. The policy must reflect purpose, context, nature, scale, and environmental impacts of activities, products, and services. Generic off-the-shelf policies are unacceptable. It must include commitments to protection of the environment, fulfillment of compliance obligations, and continual improvement of the EMS. 2026 explicitly adds climate mitigation and adaptation, and protection of biodiversity and ecosystems. Leaders must author or approve the policy, maintain it as documented information, and ensure it is communicated and understood. Make it available to interested parties, typically via the company website. Auditors verify required commitments, signature and date, and test employee awareness and relevance to their work. They look for alignment with actual practices and consistency with objectives. Lack of awareness triggers nonconformity. Clause 5.3 addresses the who does what of the EMS. Top management must ensure roles are assigned and communicated. Leaders retain accountability while delegating operational responsibilities. Every key EMS task needs a named owner. Inspections, reporting, controls. 2026 emphasizes distributed responsibility across functions, not reliance on a single EMS manager. Examples: hazardous waste, production manager; energy use, facilities manager. The EMS manager shifts from doer to facilitator and coach. Map processes, assign responsibility and authority, update job descriptions, and document. Communicate assignments directly, confirm competence, and provide resources. Auditors will interview multiple functions, check consistency, and validate authority to act. Clause 5 does not exist in a vacuum. It powers the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Leadership drives planning, doing, checking, and acting across the system. Leaders must understand context, issues, risks, opportunities, and interested parties before they can lead. Auditors check for this logical flow, first understanding, then leading. Commitments in policy and leadership direction feed planning. Objectives must align with policy. Leadership provides financial, human, and technological resources to execute the plan. Clause 9 delivers data for leadership accountability and management review decisions. Leadership commitment underpins support and operation. Without resources, competence, and awareness, the system cannot function. Auditors can often trace failures in any clause back to weaknesses in leadership commitment. Paper leadership. Policy signed, budget allocated, then leadership disappears. Treating the EMS as an annual agenda item is a red flag. Inability to explain significant aspects breaches Clause 5.1. EMS isolated from finance, procurement, and engineering is a failure of integration. Employees unaware of policy, impacts, or their roles indicate breakdowns in leadership-driven communication and training. When production always wins or funding is refused without risk evaluation, commitment is not credible. Auditors detect inconsistencies by comparing policy, CAPEX, performance data, and incident reports. Hypocrisy signals to everyone that the environment is not a true priority. Fix the root: visible, sustained leadership involvement, integration, and consistent follow-through. Step 1. Align leadership with EMS objectives through personal education. Obtain the standard, read Clause 5, attend a focused briefing. Be able to explain requirements and why they matter to the business. Step 2. Define context and strategy. Lead the Clause 4. Analysis and draft or revise the policy. Clause 5.2. Ensure the policy reflects strategic direction and organizational reality. Step 3. Demonstrate commitment. Put environmental performance on every agenda. Ask questions. Challenge respectfully. Allocate time to see for yourself. Recognize excellence and personally lead responses to failures. Step 4. Structure execution. Define roles, responsibilities, and authorities per clause. 5.3. Resource and train people. Chair rigorous management reviews. Clause 9.3, with the same seriousness as financial reviews. Use performance data to make decisions that drive continual improvement. This disciplined approach turns leadership into a powerful engine for change. Auditors assess Clause 5 with professional skepticism. Manuals do not equal reality. They begin with top management interviews, seeking direct testimony of knowledge, involvement, and commitment. They request strategic plans, leadership meeting minutes, and agendas to corroborate statements. They review CAPEX requests and decisions for environmental criteria. Auditors triangulate leader claims, manager objectives and resources, operator roles. Alignment equals strong evidence. Gaps flag nonconformity. They observe operations to see if policy commitments show up in daily work. 2026 sharpens focus on integration into core business processes. They look for evidence, not statements, decisions, resource allocations, and measurable outcomes. Ultimately, auditors assemble interviews, documents, and observations to judge leadership effectiveness against Clause 5. The evolution culminating in 2026 cements a truth. An effective EMS is a product of its leadership. Clause 5 is a clear mandate for personal involvement, strategic engagement, and ultimate accountability. Environmental thinking must be integrated into core business, transforming compliance into strategy. Leaders must be visible, consistent in messaging, and rigorous in performance review. The era of delegating environmental responsibility to one manager and a binder is over. This is not a burden. It's an opportunity for resilience, effectiveness, and value. Strong leadership drives innovation, efficiency, reputation, risk management, and competitive advantage. If there is one takeaway from 2026, leadership cannot be delegated, automated, or ignored. It is the human element that gives the EMS life, purpose, and direction. You cannot outsource leadership compliance.